Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melinda Lyons. I'm a psychic medium, a near-death experiencer, and a demonologist. And today we're going to be discussing and reacting to Teal Swan's video about demons. And this is very interesting and it really needs to be reacted to. It needs to be talked about. But before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're new, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of videos I upload every week. Guys, I've already seen the video and it's quite alarming. I've already made a reaction to this video originally, and it was a message directed towards Teal directly, and I'm pretty sure she's already seen it. Teal Swan is a new ager. Okay, I'm not against new agers. I am technically a new ager. I am a mystic. I'm also a psychic. I'm a near-death experiencer. I had a near-death experience at 18. I've seen heaven. I've been to heaven. I've also been to hell. So this is where I am not a Christian whatsoever, but I have understood through many of my years of experience that there are many things in all religions that have some truth to them. So Teal's video in particular hit a chord with me, and here's the reason why it triggered me. Was because as a person who has seen angels and demons and elementals and shadow people and even UFO, I've seen all kinds of spirits, so I am not immune to being affected by things that I am triggered by. I mean, I'm human. And I think it's really important that we keep our perceptions open-minded to the possibility that we are not alone in this world. No matter what religion you are associated with, I think it's a healthy idea to be open-minded to all levels of possibilities. Now, for me, however, I know that these entities exist. I know that these entities roam our planet and are within existence of other realms with us. I don't say these things in reaction based on a belief system. I speak this based on my personal experiences through astral realm encounters and physical encounters with these entities on this realm. So let's get straight to the point with that in mind. Teal Swan took it upon herself to make a video to answer people's questions based on demons and devil spirits. She did make a good mention in this video. If you want to see the full video, you can take a look down in the description box below. It will be there at your leisure to watch it. I will not show the entire clip of this video because it is fairly long, but I am going to be showing you one little bit of the clip that I found was very alarming and very important to discuss. So before I get into this, I want you to know that I have nothing against Teal Swan whatsoever. I think that she has a fantastic channel, and I think she does speak on a lot of truths based on many aspects of what she knows. However, I also firmly believe that if there's a subject that you're not entirely an expert in, I think you should stay out of it. That if you are not a person with enough education and enough experience in the matter, I don't think it's a very wise decision to be putting in your 2 cents into something you know nothing about. But with that being said, let's roll the clip and you'll see for yourself.
A demon is essentially a thought that was created through the vibration of lack. Instead of being the vibration of source consciousness, it is the absence of that vibration. It is a thought that has been focused on long enough that it has become a thought form that is capable of creating its own ideas, its own desires, its own prerogatives. Demons are a thought that belong to the opposite vibration to that of love and freedom. We could say they are the ultimate manifestation of separation. As such, they do not experience themselves as being connected to source consciousness, regardless of the fact that they are. For this reason, in order to maintain their identity and not dissipate, they must take energy from somewhere else. But they are only a match to those who vibrate at the same frequency as they do. People who feel totally powerless, totally ostracized and cast out. People who are stuck in a feeling of lack. A little secret is that demons are just very extreme mirrors of the inner child who could not meet its needs in direct ways. We exile demons in our society in the same way that our original unmet needs were exiled into the shadow of our own subconscious mind. But here's a little problem. If demons are a perfect vibrational match to people who are also in a vibration of manipulation because they're not getting their needs met, because they're in such an extreme vibration of lack, they aren't breaking any laws by attaching to them. In fact, they are acting in perfect accordance and obedience with universal law. But where is the transaction that is taking place energetically? What does it mean to sell your soul? I want you to look at the 7 deadly sins as if each one of them is a representation of an overcompensation for an extreme lack of something that is needed. For example, when we feel the pain of not having enough, we can become greedy. So let's say that a demon is the embodiment of greed that is ultimately the result of feeling like one doesn't have enough. It will develop the incredible power to manipulate to get that need met. So going back to the previous example of the woman who gets her self-esteem met through seduction, she will be a match to a demon whose power is seduction. When it wants to attach to her, a subconscious agreement takes place. This demon will lend its power to the woman so as to enhance her power to seduce, so that both the demon and the woman can be sure to get their need met. She is essentially participating in an energetic transaction that is parasitic but symbiotic, whereby in exchange for the added power provided by the demon, she will get her needs met, so the demon can get its needs met through her. Now, what we've been calling the devil or Lucifer is the one who chose in favor of determinism, the absence of free will. So once you get to the point where you feel such a lack that you are so desperate to get a need met that you feel incapable of controlling yourself when faced with the offer of that need being met, you have become disconnected from your own free will, and so you have vibrationally and unintentionally sided with determinism, and thus the being who gave rise to that thought, which we call the devil. Selling your soul to the devil is nothing more than engaging in a transaction that erases free will. When it comes to demonic entities, there is a transaction that exists on a mental and emotional level which enables a need to be met that is mutually beneficial to both the host and the demon. When trauma creates an extreme perception of lack, the human auric field is not being fed with enough energy to maintain its integrity, and holes or empty spaces appear in the auric field. Demonic entities can enter and attach through these empty spaces. It can do this because it is a match to the vibration of lack. The dissociation that so often occurs during these traumatic experiences is merely a further opening for demons to attach. When a person dissociates, they have often left their body empty to the degree that a full-blown possession state may occur.
Is that seriously what she's suggesting?
Now, most people, when they see these types of alter personalities show up that are attached to demons or demonic in nature, they deal with them the wrong way. What they do is to try to deprive that alter of whatever food source that demonic entity is getting in the hopes that that will cause the demon to pop off. But in fact, it feeds it. They try to force a separation between the alter and that demonic entity, and perhaps they will succeed for a time, but the likelihood of it coming right back is very, very high. Why? Because you've done nothing with the preconditions that exist for there to be a need for that transaction in the first place. Because what happens is that those empty spaces, that vacuum, is filled within that person, and there can no longer be a place for that demonic entity to reside. What you're doing is increasing the person's frequency so that that entity no longer has anything to hook into. It pops off.
People call me crazy?
So you love them completely, unconditionally. You put your arms around them. You protect them in any way that you can. And what happens? The person switches out of the altar, and eventually that demonic entity will pop off when that need is met enough.
Really?
Now, this is not to say that demons will not fight for their survival. In fact, they tend to become extra combative and active and charged when their survival is threatened, which it is when their source of energy is threatening to be cut off. But the truth remains the same. Meet the need and the person is no longer a match to the demon. Once you manage to fulfill some unmet need for someone so as to cause a demonic entity who is helping fulfill that need to pop off, you can focus your attention on that demon. Show it another way to directly meet its needs. Love that demon. Take it as yourself. Most especially, show it or make it become aware of its connection to source consciousness, so it no longer perceives itself to be separate from that which we call God. This is the ultimate form of integration. Clearing demons from someone's auric field is absolutely pointless unless we do it in conjunction, direct conjunction with meeting the unmet needs, because the transaction exists for a reason. Let's say that a person is so incredibly ostracized that they don't belong anywhere. Their unmet need is belonging and feeling wanted. Now let's say that a demon is the embodiment of the concept of possession. That happens when someone is in so much of a lack because they keep losing things and losing things, that the overcompensation to the unhealthy degree, to the unhealthy side, is to grasp and keep and contain and hold things. Actually, this is a beneficial transaction for the person, because having the demon come in and completely possess and claim them actually feels like being wanted for the very first time and belonging. So unless you provide belonging to that person, they will have an attachment to that demon, and for good reason, because it's the only place that their need is being met. You would understand that our focus does not need to be on demonic entities and how to get rid of them. Our focus needs to be on how to restore ourselves to a state of wholeness.
Okay, so you've seen the clip. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of what your first reaction is of this video. I really would love to know. Now, this is where I really want to get into this pretty deep, pretty fast. She's absolutely, unequivocally wrong, and she's practically insane. I'm not saying she's insane clinically. I'm not saying psychologically she's actually insane. What I'm saying, what she is suggesting for people to suddenly decide that it's a good idea to welcome possession, she is absolutely wrong on so many levels, that it's not just triggering, it's ridiculous, it's outrageous, and it's flat out enraging. My profession is to prevent people from being attacked by demon entities. What I find confusing is in her analysis, in her statement about demons, that first she says that these are parasites. She is correct. They are in a sense, a parasite entity. However, when they latch onto you and you decide to give them love, they're not going to pop off. The term that she made about this is laughable, because it shows how little experience she has with demons themselves. Demon entities do exist, because I've had many clients come to me pleading for my help because I help people for free. I never charge a person for what's called a paranormal advisory session. So I help people one at a time who I feel needs my help in the moment. When I help these people, they are long distance, they are usually across the country, they're all over the world, and I will help them for as long as I feel that my services are needed, and will provide for them information that will help them in the future and in the present moment. And more importantly, to get rid of the spirits and to empower these people that have suffered a great deal. Demons are very real entities. These are not entities that are manifested from our fear. In fact, it's the other way around. Demons are actual entities that feed on our fear. So unfortunately, as educated and as enlightened as Teal Swan is, however, she's very incorrect on so many aspects about this I can't even tell you. Let me ask you this. If Ed and Lorraine Warren were alive, can you imagine their reaction of what they would say to something Teal Swan just said about this? Can you imagine Ed being calm, or even roughly Lorraine being able to withstand the ridiculousness of the statements that Teal said? This is dangerous. I feel, as a demonologist and as an astral exorcist, this is absolutely dangerous. Teal Swan also likes to entertain the idea that if you love the demon, that it's because it will help you, because the demon feeds off of what you are lacking. This is true to an extent. She's correct that demons will feed on what we are lacking in some aspect, in some way. If a person is lacking sex in their life, they will be tempted by demons for lust. This is absolutely true. However, at the same time, if a person is a sex addict, they will actually be fed more sex because of incubus and succubus. So if you were to, let's say in her suggestion, a sex addict begin to love their incubus or succubus that's haunting them, do you think that's really going to make the demon pop off? No, what's actually going to happen is make the person so exhausted, so drained, to the point where they can actually go to the hospital. You're absolutely wrong. And the biggest question I have for someone like Teal is, have you even met a demon? Have you even seen a demon? I doubt it. And that was the first thing I said, and I don't apologize for that video that I made at all whatsoever. Because hell is real, it does exist. Demons and angels have existed way before Christianity. She made a comment in the video based on how demons and Lucifer and Luciferianism is all about Satanism. Actually, she got that incorrect. Satanism is more based on Satan. Luciferianism is based on Lucifer. But this is where she's wrong, again, because she doesn't know enough information based on these entities. She's obviously, what I can tell is it seems as if she believes, like most Christians believe, and most people assume, that Lucifer and Satan are the same entity. So I think that's one of the reasons why she mentioned Luciferianism a lot, associating that with Satan. But this is actually false. Satan and Lucifer are two very different entities. They are not the same being. In fact, they are exactly different. Lucifer is a fallen angel, and Satan is the devil that tempted Lucifer. So this is where a lot of people get the confusion based on this, and I know this because I've actually met these entities separately and together at the same time. I don't take these kinds of videos lightly, and I most certainly do not take the information of what she's distributing to millions of people all over the world lightly or funny. What she did is encourage children to partake in possession. What she's encouraging is the lack of personal accountability for the responsibility of what you are putting into people's minds all over the world. It's ridiculous. It's obscene. It's irresponsible. And it's dangerous and reckless on so many levels, guys. I don't claim to be the #1 knowledgeable person on demonology. I only know demons from my personal experiences and through some things that I've read based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. I speak with Ed and Lorraine very often. I've been working with Ed closely. So me being a psychic medium, I speak to a lot of spirits, and I've been confirmed by many of my testimonies from many of my clients that I've helped all over the world to confirm my credibility. I don't need a certificate to build my credibility. In fact, no one does. So if anyone attacks me in that way, the truth is, if you're getting a certificate to prove you're psychic, you're getting scammed. All you need is to meditate, to open your third eye. Boom, you can become psychic. That's how it works for everybody. But the truth is, a lot of the industries want you to believe you still have to pay them money. Kind of like Teal Swan when she's having all these seminars, thinking that you need to be enlightened by going to her classes. When in truth, you don't need any of that. You just need to meditate, listen to your guides, listen to your gut instinct, and to work through what works with you in a higher state of being, with love and compassion and kindness, and with, in this case, common sense. Teal Swan means no harm, but the information that she's distributed does leave people to a destructive lifestyle that can be so damaging to the psychology of a person, to the emotional stability, to the mental well-being, the sexual well-being, the energy well-being, the soul well-being of a human being. What she's suggesting is a fatal mistake. I am not Christian. I am a person who has seen many entities from all kinds of walks of life, of many different types of religions that do exist. I've spoken with Shiva. I've met and worked very closely with Shiva. He's one of the most beautiful beings I've ever met, that I've ever had the grace to be in the presence of. I've worked closely with Jesus. Name is Joshua, Yehoshua in Hebrew. I've worked closely with Archangel Michael and Gabriel. I've worked closely with star seeds and light workers in other realms. I've worked closely with even UFO that I don't even still to this day know their names. I've worked closely with Ed Warren and many other people. When I watched the video with Teal, it shocked me so bad. I threw my headphones down and I yelled, "What the fuck?" Because I'm a person who works very closely with my guides who battle these entities all the time to protect human lives. So for a person who has never had that kind of experience, and to say that it's all in your mind and you're hallucinating it, and to love it because you're lacking love in your life, and to love that demon that it will suddenly disappear, is bananas. It's ridiculous. It's not true. It's absolutely not true. If you've seen plenty of other material all over the world, such as Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans, yeah, he's kind of egoic in some aspects, but he has his facts. He knows what the hell he's talking about. He gets evidence to prove demons exist. That's one of the reasons why I'll always support him. When it comes down to speaking with Ed, I spoke to Ed about this, and Ed was appalled. He was furious. I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone, that a grown-ass woman who claims to be enlightened, no jokes at all whatsoever, to say, yes, I encourage you and you should welcome summoning. You should welcome being summoned. Let the demon be inside of you. She's actually suggesting you to be possessed. Can you imagine them being in a debate with each other? He'd wipe her ass out so goddamn fast with so many facts it wouldn't even be funny. It makes me scared for her children that she would actually say this, because then I wonder, is she going to suggest to her children the same suggestion? Yes, take in possession with your demon. Now, I'm not saying that to pick on her as a mother. What I'm saying is how far will she go with that kind of video, with that kind of mentality, with that kind of message? I've been possessed before. Twice. And the last time I was levitating off my damn bed. It was horrifying. I was by myself. I wish I had a camera to record that. And I'm planning after that I will be getting cameras to be recording myself every night when I sleep. That's the plan. Because after that attack, after being possessed, so when she said that, that triggered me personally on a very deep level, because that's not something that happens to a person who's psychologically lacking something. It's an actual spiritual warfare that has been going on since ancient Egyptian, ancient Mayan, not Christianity, not just Christianity, long before the crap she spat. This is how much she has not taken time to really consider the homework of demonology. My reaction to this is genuine. For a person who has never experienced possession, for a person who's never experienced, obviously, a series of demonic paranormal activity, a person who's never been scarred to that level, you know, she's lucky. She's absolutely lucky. I pray that demons don't challenge that perception. I pray that she does not end up in that situation and realizes the hard truth of what she actually is inviting. I've been around demons for years, not because I have something lacking in my life, but because when a person vibrates at a very high velocity, whether high or low, depending on their energy frequency, they can be attractive to demons. It's not a one-size-fits-all scenario, which basically is what she was trying to suggest in this situation. That's the laughable part about it, is she's, again, trying to generalize it in one way of why demons will show up in your house, and that's not how it works. Demons show up in many aspects in many different ways, based on drug addicts, based on alcoholics, sex addicts, people in the porn industry, people that are raped, have sexual abuse, people that not are just lacking love, but are probably even being physically abused, maybe by their parents, by their spouse, people that are in sex trafficking, maybe people that are actually the abuser and they're being influenced and possessed in certain ways to beat on their wife and children, which is what leads them to murder their family. And then for them to wake up and go, what the heck did I just do? And they go to prison regretting it because they had no idea what had just happened, because that's possession. I can't comprehend this level of ignorance, honestly. My mind can't even understand that level of mentality because I've experienced way too many things that are absolutely true. And I have had so many clients beg me for help because of things that I've seen that happened to them. Because even when I would do readings for them and I would start validating what happened to them, and they would go, yes, this actually happened, and we would be able to get to the bottom of the situation because whatever that was haunting them would happen to me. And that's how it works in my sessions. I do not know anything about my clients and I only know their first name. Period. That's it. I don't want to know your email. I don't want to know your address. I don't want to know your birthday. I don't want to know shit. I just want your name. And then when I schedule you for a session 2-3 weeks in advance. And while I'm waiting for that 2 weeks, I will sit and wait for what the entity will do with me, and I will start to experience what my clients have gone through. I'll start having dreams, I'll start having manifestations, I'll start having paranormal activity, psychic attacks, paranormal attacks, all kinds of things. All kinds of things will start to occur, and I will start to be able to put the pieces together in order to identify what the situation is and what kind of entity we are dealing with. And when I do this, it helps to validate my clients. I don't get paid for that. I help them for free out of the goodness of my heart because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. I feel like that's my purpose in life, is to use my ability to help people, to save them from a situation that they don't know how to get out of because someone like Teal Swan suggested it was a good fucking idea. And this kind of video pisses me off. And the last bit I will say here, and it's directly to Teal. Being triggered by something has nothing to do with whether or not it's unresolved issues inside. Not always is that the case, and you know this. It's also based on the factor of whether or not someone said something blatantly outright that you know is obscene. That's like a person like Hitler saying, hey, we're going to kill all the Jews. That would trigger you, wouldn't it? Of course it would. That's not based on unresolved issues. It's based on the blasphemy that he spat out that killed millions of people. And what you are doing is triggering the same amount of triggering for me based on demonology, based on a person who has seen these entities in the face for years, more than you probably ever have in a day. You challenging people to decide the idea that these entities should be welcomed inside of your energy aura frequency. What you are doing is putting people in danger based on their soul, vibration, and existence. These entities are actual multidimensional entities. These entities are from a different realm, a realm that you probably have never seen, that I hope you never will go to. It's not just hell, other places. And these entities take possession of people. They latch onto people, not just because people are broken and it's their fault. It's because these people are being manipulated and abused, much like most of these gurus telling them bullshit lies to make them feel better or to feel worse, so that way at the end of the day they keep feeding you more money. Being enlightened doesn't mean making people feel worse about themselves to put you in a better position in your life. That's not being enlightened. You sitting there telling people that they should feel worse about themselves when they have demons and to welcome it into your home, that's basically in the mindfuck. That's what you're telling people. A person who's never seen you before, and you tell someone, much like the law of attraction, and you say, this is because it's all you. It's all your fault. Well, you know what, sweetheart? I'm going to tell you, it's not always the law of attraction. It's also the law of command. Based on the commands of the devil entities telling their minion demons what to do and how to do it. The universal law of free will also comes into play, not just the law of attraction. There are many other laws besides that one. I wish I could do this more like a lady, but you know what? Life's too short to pretend that it's all fun and games, because it's not. This isn't even my ego. I'm just fed up with spiritual teachers trying to play and to pretend that this is a good idea when they've never fucking seen a demon in their goddamn life ever. And even if she did, she has no knowledge in. She has none. And I'm telling you this as a person who has seen demons in many different scenarios that I wish I never did. Demons have haunted my kid before. Demons have haunted my family. I have seen demons actually manifest into my room in sleep paralysis. That's not made up. I've seen a devil entity, bright and red. I've seen some that were flying in the air. I've seen some crawl out of the roof and through the floor. They've even pulled me out of my bed, physically. That's not manifestation of the law of attraction, and that's not something you decide is based on your thought waves. That's a physical, metaphysical entity from a multidimensional plane that we know nothing about, that is challenging our capabilities of how we handle it in the first place based on our mentality and emotion. And for someone like Teal to suggest these crazy ideas is exactly what the devil wants. Every single time when I saw a Teal Swan video, I didn't like her. I didn't know why. Now, it's not because I wasn't giving her a chance or jealousy or anything like that. I think she's a fantastic woman. I think she's very bright. I think she's beautiful. I think she has really good intellect in a lot of things. But this is where I realized the second I saw this video, that's it. That's why I don't like her. That's why. It's not because I was trying to find a reason why I don't like her. And I know a lot of people will say that because it's nonsense. My guides led me to the video. I only watched like maybe 3-4 videos, and I never really watched the whole thing because honestly, a lot of it was kind of painfully difficult to sit through. I think I only watched maybe a handful of videos, but the truth is I could never sit through any of her videos. I couldn't sit and actually watch from the beginning to the end. I just couldn't. I would sit and watch maybe the first 2-3 minutes, maybe 5, but I just went, no. And it just didn't, the vibe just didn't sit right with me. I never felt like she was malicious. That's never the intention. I knew that. I knew she's a very bright energy frequency. However, I just felt like something wasn't right. Something just wasn't right. When she was doing these predictions based on Trump and based on all these other things, based on the presidency, bothered by this because the vibe I got was she was saying things like, yeah, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to leave. I'm not even going to be in America. And she was kind of laughing about this, and people, you could tell in her audience, were very disturbed what she was insinuating, but she never said it outright. And this is what bothered me. And I could tell the fear she was putting on the people in this audience about the fear of basically doomsday. And Infinite Waters is guilty of the same thing. Now, do I think that is still a possibility? Yes and no. It won't be like what a lot of these gurus say. It's going to be very different. It's going to be very strategic, but even then, I don't believe in doomsday at the same time. It's more of a new order. It's going to be a change. When we are ever triggered by an individual or by a certain instance, situation, or even a movie, a song, or whatever the case, a book, whatever the case, okay? When you have something in mind or someone in mind and you're always told, oh, this is great, or this person's great, but you still go, I don't know, but you still try to give them a chance, that's not you giving shade. It's your divine message receiver, which is your intuition, guiding you into your gut feeling, which is what I always like to encourage my clients to always listen to. I always try to talk about this on my channel because that is your gut feeling telling you a vibe about a person or a situation or other things. And that was the exact vibe I got from Teal. And I even had the same vibe from Infinite Waters' Ralph. I don't think that either one of them have evil intentions, and I will never say that they do. But I do feel strongly that they are guiding people in a very manipulative way, in a very negative way that is causing more backlash on people, which is forcing them to feel like they have to keep going to their channel. And I'll tell you why I say this. When a person doesn't say outright the exact answer, when you ask them something and they just kind of go in circles but they don't really answer your question, that's a person who's manipulating you. And the reason why I say this, the reason why I can tell that this is how Teal Swan and Infinite Waters work, is because when I was even being interviewed at one point by California psychics to take a job with them, and this was way before YouTube, and that was actually what made me decide, that's it, I'm going to join YouTube and just start my own channel, because I was trying to be with California psychics, but they told me that I just wasn't good enough for their, for their company. People laugh and say, oh, it's because they didn't want you. No, I had 3 interviews with 3 different people, and each person was a higher up. So it was higher, higher, higher. Because what they did was they had me do an interview where I read the person. So I would read them and they would go, oh my God, yeah, that's correct. Oh my God, yeah, that's correct. I even predicted one person who was pregnant. How could I know? I didn't see this woman's face. I found out after being so upset, and they kept turning me down, and they said, you were just not really thinking you're really right for us. Maybe you can go to another company. And I said, wait a minute, I don't understand. You guys are looking for psychics who are accurate, and you just sat here and told me 3 times, 3 different people, and now you're the last one, and you're telling me I'm not good enough? And I was so bothered by this. And I said, I don't understand it. You guys said that you're looking for accuracy. I just gave you some of the most accurate readings you guys asked for, and you even said so for yourself, didn't you? And they said, yeah, but this, nah, and they just really wouldn't give me an answer. And then finally I spoke to my mother, who's psychic, but she does it more on her own. She doesn't do it for work or anything. I knew to ask my mother. Plain as day, she said, it's because they know you will not fish. And I said, what do you mean fish? And she said, they're looking for psychics that are still looking for the manipulation to always make you wanting more. That's what they want. Because then that makes them more money. Because if they don't give you enough answers or enough information, then, or even if you do, but you kind of manipulate what you're saying, then that forces people to feel compelled to keep going to you and pay for services because they're so addicted to it. And for me, though, I'm very blunt. I'm very to the point. I'm straightforward. I'm a straight arrow. I'm a Sagittarius. I don't hold back. And I tell the truth, whether you like it or not. And I try to be better about my strategy, but that's how it is. That's how I am. But the reality is that's how Teal and Infinite Waters works. They tell people similar things in a way to kind of make you feel compelled. They kind of give you an answer, but they don't give you an answer. And then at the same time, you feel still like you need to keep watching, hoping they will still give you more. That's how it works. That's how a lot of these psychics do it. It's no different than tarot cards in a lot of ways, because it becomes an addiction and you just want more and more and more. And it's sad. This was kind of a long reaction, but in my personal opinion, as a demonologist and even as a person who's worked closely with Ed Warren in the astral realms against demons, I can say with 1000% confidence, Teal is absolutely incorrect, and she is leading people very far into a darkened path that I pray one day she will realize. But I wish you guys love and light. This is my reaction, and I hope you enjoyed it, and more importantly, got positive and informative information out of it that is useful for you in your life and for others. But if you want to see more videos like it, please like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future. But I wish you guys love and light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.